My name is Ariane Isom, and I'm recording this video for the final paper. The topic that I chose was transgender transsexual identities and fetishistic cross-dressing children and adults. I chose this topic because before the semester it wasn't something that I knew much about. Our social and political community or culture tends to focus more on lesbian and gay rights. Uh, and as we learned, or I learned in these chapters, that it tends to do with them having a bigger community than transgender because the transgender community and transsexual community is very small compared to lesbian and gay. So I was very excited to read these chapters as I didn't know much about it. I know in the last couple of years there's been kind of a big debate about whether or not these individuals should be using public bathrooms that they identify with. And to me, and I know probably a lot of all my other social workers, this seems ridiculous to us as people are just trying to use the bathroom. So I am a really big advocate for this community, and I'm really glad that I know more about it now. Some of the things that I learned, I wasn't too much about terms, so especially like cross-dressing, I didn't know much about that. The being turned on by your identity or thinking about being a female or a male was interesting to learn. Also, a big thing that I learned was mainly the role that social workers will have with this community is working with their family members or their loved ones and helping them understand and accept the client or the main presenting person with what they're struggling with, whether it be their developmental or just anything that they may have about maybe dysphoria or the cross-dressing behavior. So the cross-dressing, I found it interesting that many try to purge the belongings and try to stop the behavior. This could be due to social pressure or internal pressure about how they feel about themselves, or if they see that the behavior in their mind is wrong. So it's interesting that they do try to stop cross-dressing, but then it was also reported in the text and studies that this doesn't work. It's like not a long-term solution, and many begin to collect more items and keep doing this behavior. And it is mainly seen in men, although women do cross-dress, and some for political reasons or other than just being like it being a fetish. There's other reasons why females do it versus why men do it. Also, like across the world, cross-dressing is seen. I knew a little bit about Thailand's, they call them lady boys or tomboys, but it was interesting that in Indonesia they have the highest rate of HIV due to like the sexual slave trade. And it's important to know the difference about gender dysphoria versus, like gender identity and sexual identity. Some, like a male to female, like transgender, may see themselves like as a female. They are a female, and that's the pronoun that they want to use, and that's who they were, and the mentality that they were born with. They identify as a female, but they may be a straight female and be attracted to men. Just because they were born a male does not mean that they're gay, now that they or have always been attracted to men. So that's very interesting to know, and the difference to know about. Many people see all of this topic as a deviance, and they may not understand that they are not gay, they're just a straight woman. Although, if they're gay or not, what does it matter? But some people seem to think it does. And of course, not everyone chooses to have sexual reassignment surgery. I found this very interesting because I previously thought before this class that it was the end goal. But many have to work through their identity developmental issues, and once they do, they're okay with themselves, and they don't have to get breasts or anything else. What else? Implications for our practice. We do need to know about these issues and awareness of what somebody may be going through, and even if we don't, we should be willing to learn. All throughout the chapters, especially in the Bersiki, I'm butchering it, but that textbook, went on a lot about affirmation and just helping the client realize who they are and how to be okay with themselves. Especially when working with transgenders, the standards that have been set out by Harry Benjamin, especially when going through transitioning or being that gatekeeper for them transitioning. So a lot of it too, in their daily lives about working, and a lot of it has to do with any kind of help through relationships that people may have and all that, especially in the textbook, because as I mentioned, this community is so small. A lot of our work will be done with family members. So it's really important to know all these issues and being culturally competent and learning what we don't. So, as before, I didn't know anything about this clientele. Now I know a little bit more. I need to keep learning in order to help this population.